What is a transgov in Subnautica? Do transgovs behave like nation-states, as Alvin Toffler predicted in the third wave with transnationals? Are all the other transgovs like Altera? Today, in Ad Astra Report, we will find out what Subnautica's transgovs are. Transgovs are independent governmental authorities, owning their own territory, but do not fall under the qualifications of a country or nation. They de facto control at least one solar system and one phase gate, and govern a civilian population, called citizens, that consciously or implicitly consented to the authority of said governing body. Transgovs contain many smaller companies or clans under their command. Most humans live within the Galactic Federation, sharing a primary language and a single currency, although the transgovs have a credit system to reward their employees. However, the galaxy is home to more unique cultures and administrations than ever in history of humankind. The Charter is a full legal contract agreed upon by 37 separate transgovs, which establishes laws for the exploration, colonization, and governing of space. Transgovs fund the Trans-System Federation Military Police, charged with enforcing the terms of the Charter, although this military force is theoretically independent from transgovs. The mercenary Marguerite Maida did tours with the Trans-System Federation, and held an esteemed career before being dishonorably discharged for going off mission. Each transgov has also the right to self-government, but cannot develop weapons and technologies outlawed in Appendix 91 of the Charter. Towards the end of the Great Expansion, the major transgovs found that the same AI fleets, clone workers, and personal enhancements which had enabled their rapid expansion, had made them dependent on nearly depleted resources, thus the widespread adoption of strict regulation on powerful new technologies. Another rule states that transgovs cannot engage in population abuse. Besides, transgovs are required to investigate distress signals and provide assistance if possible. The transnational Earth corporations mentioned by Alvin Toffler in the third wave had been forming since the mid-20th century with increasing size, importance, and political power in the global game. They also had subsidiaries operating in many countries. They represented a new and crucial factor in the global system and a challenge to the nation-state. Transnationals had become so large that they had taken on some of the characteristics of the nation-state itself, including their own corps of quasi-diplomats and their own highly effective espionage services. Thus, a network of economic institutions was superimposed on the organization of the world into mutually exclusive political entities. Altera, literally meaning by Earth, originated as a defense manufacturer in the early 22nd century, is one of the largest transgovs in the known universe, a leading supplier of starship technologies and consumer electronics, and the official supplier of the Trans-System Federation. Altera's national motto is, "Get what you deserve." Altera bans all weapons within its borders, but there are some loopholes, not only for law enforcement officers but also for manufacturers and exporters. Free enterprise within Altera space is encouraged, and there are millions of smaller companies under the Altera umbrella, but profitable businesses are bought out by the state, although in that case owners ascend to the Altera board of directors. The corporation's lawyers have always maintained that Altera has no legal obligation to its employees, but rather voluntarily chooses to take on the roles usually served by a democratically elected government. However, this claim has not yet been tested in Federation courts. Altera employees, like Sam Ayu, are entitled to a one-time share in the Altera Corporation to meet Altera's dividend payments. Instead, contractors such as her sister Robin Ayu are paid by Altera but are not strictly employees. All resources gathered by employees are company property, and Altera expects the cost of using these resources to be reimbursed at market rates, even if they are necessary to survive in the event of an accident such as the Auroras, crashed in 4546b after being shot by the quarantine enforcement platform. Thus, the sole survivor of the Aurora, Riley Robinson, held a bill of $1 trillion credit for the building of the Neptune and some bases on the crater of 4546b. Our research team has learned that Altera discovered the corpse of a leviathan frozen in ice in Sector 0, infected by Caribacterium, and that a party, called Frost Pack, has been researching the leviathan pustules to develop applications in health and genetics, but also in biological weapons. After the hostilities of the expansion ceased, the central government abandoned the colony systems on the edge of the China territories, which declared their independence, building a relatively minor power on the outskirts of colonized space, but one of the fastest expanding trans-governors in the galaxy, called the Mongolian Independent States. With little centralized control, their authority branches from many clancorps, each of which maintain a certain amount of power in the Transgov. Mongolian societies inherited their technologies from the Chinese, but incorporated the customs of their multicultural colonist base. Non-synthetic foods remain popular, and religion is a strong component of society, but the Mongolians take a relaxed view of competing faiths, and claim that they believe in God so long as they don't try to command them. The Degasi was a Mongolian ship, crewed by Paul and Bart Torgal and Marguerite Maida, crashed in 4546b after being fired upon by the Quarantine Enforcement Platform. Torgal Corporation was a long-standing family-run clan that operated almost a dozen mining and trading operations. The Aurora's secondary mission was to rescue and learn the fate of the possible survivors of the Degasi. Joki Kasar, a Mongolian emissary on board the Aurora to search for the Degasi, claimed that the Mongolian state's people have the freedom to work for themselves. We've not been able to find out the name of the Transgov of the Sunbeam, the ship that attempted to rescue Riley Robinson and suffered the same fate as the Aurora. According to the Sunbeam's captain, Avery Quinn, this Transgov is relatively small and based on the far side of Andromeda. As far as we know, for this Transgov there's no bad without the good, no good without the bad. The starship Mercury 2 crashed in 4546b2 after being shot by the Quarantine Enforcement Platform, was a part of Sol Transgov. Our research team believes this Transgov is related to the solar system, judging by its name and the name of the Mercury 2. Sol is known as the birthplace of mankind. Despite the events of the 21st century, Earth remained the most habitable and developed human colony and the effective power center of the known universe, but the discovery of phase-gate travel changed everything. Humanity began to reach out to distant star systems, and Sol's outer space colonies soon claimed independence under various national banners. Earth-founded corporations began to flee Sol, taking their resources, people and infrastructure to the far reaches of space. Sol then began to redesign previously desolate planetoids with the help of alien life forms imported from distant solar systems, and growth was sidelined in favor of balance and efficient use of space and resources. Sol has one of the flattest social structures in the Federation, with no internal currency, a high degree of self-sufficiency and high citizen satisfaction.